Amidst all that's been taking place on the real side, the reaching out and sharing the new you sound and the ears with all and any who may listen, the various attacks from the dark forces in all the forms that they take, and the overall becoming more aware process through the willingness to be shown more and become aware, therefore, of more than we currently are, is the continuing view of what's taking place with my personal self, represented as a house on the real side and the street it is in. Generally, then, in regards to my house, this is the process of facing the created self and creation that it has participated in, the cause and effect manifesting of. For once everything of the construction of the created self is confronted, we are fully conscious of every aspect of it, all the tap-line agreements and attachments that it comprises of, and can now decide to let everything that restricts us to creation go. So this process is continuous, and every now and again I see more of my intent to proceed with the facing of the personal self, expressed and represented on the real side, as further restructuring of the personal self-house, from clearing out a tap-line representing clutter to having the very walls caved in, to having the roof removed. The house represents always something for the personal self to relate to, a kind of home base, if you will, as it is a process of stepping continuously into the unknown of what is endlessly real, and then returning to the house and making the comparisons of what we know to what we are now being shown. Eventually, I would imagine that an individual would no longer even have a personal self-house on the real side, as it progressively becomes less, as the process continues. Rather a scary notion for the personal self, and so it must be a gradual process, for I have found that sometimes when I go too quickly, the personal self will panic and run for the comfort of what it has known, until it can be coaxed out again from under the bed. And recently also, has my recreated real side street been widened and restructured by the guides to facilitate an influx of new individuals and situations that will feature in my experience as I continue delving forward with my real intent to recognize the ease. For the more we face the personal self and the whole of life, the more we expose ourselves to it and all the individuals and everything it consists of. We must deal with all the confrontation and all the attitudes, and ultimately, as the risk-taker position that it is, be prepared that even the personal self may be destroyed in the process. For, of course, everything in creation and those who dwell within it, who are not deciding to step up and become more aware, will be opposed to those who are, as they will surely be agitated by that which they know is real, but have not the want to embrace it themselves, or will be outraged and seek to attack us as we present that which not only will have us removed from the restriction of creation, but allow others the opportunity also, and the dark force creation rulers certainly don't want to lose any agreement supporting slaves. So as my street is widened in preparation for the additional situations and individuals I will be faced with, a wider and more expansive street representing a greater access for that which will be increasingly entering my experience. Not all individuals will necessarily be those willing to step up and become more aware. Much of that which will be accessing my street now will be the agitated and the outraged. And here, on the real side, I would find my widened street now able to accommodate the influx of a selection of gigantic monsters, ill-intended beasts of mighty proportions. But size, of course, means very little on the real side in regards to that being exhibited by the unaware and the dark force folks. For such characters surely like to bloat themselves up, to look down upon you from their height, but ultimately protection is assured through a real awareness that is aside and untouchable by anything creational based, including personal self-body types and any expression of them on the real side. We are still rather operating in two realities, however, as we share and present in creation on the physical and the real side, so are open to attack, but with greater assurances of safety, as the real awareness that we are allowing the connection with does whatever is necessary to survive, as we all have a right to defend ourselves. Monsters can represent a number of things, from aspects of the personal self, ideas masquerading in monstrous form, to the monstrous ideas of others, to monsters that represent the social collective consciousness. The monsters can be actual individuals also in these forms, for there are endless expressions of variety of body types utilized throughout creation and the real side. Very often, too, thought forms and subconscious, unconscious ideas roam in the form of monsters, like in the movie Forbidden Planet. For on a few occasions on the real side, I have been with groups tasked with the assignment of vanquishing these monster thought forms. For some thought forms have roamed as monsters for eons on the real side, and would remain forever causing disruption, unless a little occasional real side tidying up takes place. Killable monsters, then, are such created ideas and thought forms, and are as insubstantial as creation itself really is. The monster, then, only has power as we give it attention, focus, cling to it, if we agree with it. Although any monsters we encounter on the real side that can't be killed tend to represent the personal created self, or the collective created consciousness, and we are rather stuck with the personal self while in creation, and have to deal with it. We can't slay it, as it were, and the created consciousness is as it has been decided to be. We can't oppose or crush it, as it is the free will for everyone to choose and create what they will. We could attempt to quash or alter the collective created consciousness, but then we present as imposition, and we can only do that from a personal self-position, much as the social engineering dark forces do, and we become then caught up in the effects. We can then only present and share and create what we do that is beneficial for the whole of life. If we manipulate creation, then we can become an authority and a control factor also. And the controllers are as much locked into a creation as those that they have decided to impose their control upon through the agreements they garner. These monsters in my street were very slayable, so were either the ideas of others that I was confronted with through my continued process, or ideas being released from my personal self-house, from perhaps the subconscious. For very often these deep-rooted subconscious ideas are so old and so very convoluted that they do manifest as big, ugly monsters when identified and exposed. And then, of course, the idea is to decide their release. We slay the monsters, so to speak. For these street monsters were very slayable, as I said, so were idea representing, and I would have assistance from another individual that I took to be a real guide, as the guides do assist us with our process, but only if we are willing and open to it, as they will not oppose our free will if we decide otherwise. The scene rather rolled out like a computer game, where I would bring special, real awareness provided abilities to bear. All that was required to eliminate the idea monsters that had taken advantage of the greater access that my extended and widened street had provided.
That's terrific, and yes, I recommend people seeing that movie. It's from the 60s, if I remember. I saw it in high school, Forbidden Planet, with Leslie Nielsen and Jack Kelly. Very, very good example of what exactly is taking place here with the subliminals. It's a fun adventure. Yes, I recommend everybody see it. And what you're saying there and what's going on, yes, you're opening an avenue. So again, these are the challenges that exist. It's not that we run from them, but at first they are scary and we all run from them. But eventually we realize that we must face them. And I'm writing a new group right now. And because we're all on this earth right now and what we're doing, we're all part of this. We're all part of what is taking place. And it's time to step up and do our part and really take a look at what's going on the earth and stop pretending. So letting people know little by little, and this is what Val and I are doing down here too. We have a lot to do in this community, letting the earth know what's going on, because these things exist everywhere with everyone, and people can pretend that they don't. But facing this and getting through this opens up huge new possibilities for everybody. Yes, it's only beneficial where what's going on this planet now is affecting a lot of people, and especially subconsciously and physically. It's not. It's ruining everything. That's very, very real, and it's very rapid.
This planet Earth needs a lot of help from all of us right now. Dean Val of NUUU, Nations United Universal University, is contacting people around this world every day to share the importance of the all-natural environment supporting all of us. Dean Val and Dwayne Lee Hepner.org 501c3 have created CAN, Community Action Network, to help all communities become aware of how to be self-sufficient with permaculture and food and rainforests. We are always looking for real people to step up, who want to learn what life on this earth is all about. We will be leasing large portions of land to create something wonderful for all communities everywhere. Contact Val Vittles on Skype and Facebook to get involved with what we all can do now, or through the phone number provided or the website in the links. Dwayne the Great Writer.net. Join us for weekly environment awareness Skypes every Sunday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The NUUU, Nations United Universal University, is dedicated to supporting and providing a real purpose and real awareness with the all-natural environment supporting all of us. First comes this earth with food and rainforests, and to protect what is still here. For those who have the awareness to see what is actually taking place here, with all the natural devastation, which is also purposely planned by world controllers, you now have a real opportunity to step up and do something with those who also care about your planet Earth. Dwayne Lee Hepner has created the NUUU, Nations United Universal University, which completely entails the all-natural environment everywhere, and a real education that has real value, and that far surpasses any commonly created indoctrinating educational system that does not focus on what sustains all of us naturally. Real survival makes sense with everything here that is self-sustaining.